Hey, hey. Hey, Fit Fam. Let me get to these tags, and then I'll be right with you. So hang tight. And today we are cooking with Dorothy, so we thought we'd give you guys a break from those traveling or going away for the long weekend. And we did hey, Sue. So instead of doing our regular cooking with Dorothy on Monday, we thought we'd do it on Tuesday. So that's why I'm here Tuesday. You guys know, I know that there's teachers, quite a few teachers in this group, and I gave Dorothy the night off, but I didn't really give her a choice. She said she's very bossy, and I said sometimes I need to be bossy for you. So I don't like, you guys know what it's like to be run down, and that's something that I'm trying to avoid. But it's important for everyone. Let me see if I can find the right group. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, there I am. Okay. Hey, howdy, hey. Is that a song? Hey, howdy, hey. Hey, howdy, hey. Hey, howdy, ho. Howdy, ho, neighbor Tim. Yeah, so I told Dorothy, I was like, look, I want Dorothy to have lots of energy and do well this year with school and this semester and going back to school. So I said, just relax tonight and take care of yourself. She's having a hot detoxing bath and hot turmeric tea. And I'm going to rock the mic tonight. Melody says, hey, Fit Fam. So today we're talking about carbs. As we talked about before, you guys can go back and check out all past videos. We talked about a brief overview of macronutrients. And then last week we talked about, what did we talk about? Who was here last week? Annette's in here. Hey, Annette. Last week we talked about fats. Talked about healthy fats. So you can always go back and check out those past videos. And this week we're talking about carbohydrates. So we have proteins to talk about still, and then antioxidants. Let me know in the comments which one you guys want me to talk about next. This is a hot turmeric tea latte, and someone gave me some milk kefir. So kefir is good for digestion. It's probiotics, and it's to help digestion. But I'm not really used to milk. Actually, I told you guys in the past on a Sunday, Success Sunday, I had a local farmer give me a gallon of raw milk. So I've been having a little bit of that. Liz, have you tried that? It's pretty thick. Like, I can only put a very small amount in my smoothie. So I hope I can drink it before it goes bad. But I thought maybe like milk, I don't know. Like, I don't have a problem with dairy products. I don't have a problem with meat products. They just don't, like, conventionally, they don't usually turn out well. They're not great for digestion. So I partly feel like going backwards, like going back to dairy, but you have to put in effort. It takes effort. It's the same as the other way around though. Like sometimes people are like, oh, I can't drink almond milk. I can't drink coconut milk, whatever it is. I'm used to coconut milk, or the kids, they don't want it. So you do the exact opposite of what I'm doing. You put a little bit of, you put most of the cow's milk in there, or dairy milk, and then you put a little bit of coconut milk or whatever it is, and then you slowly increase. And that's kind of what I'm doing with the milk, just the opposite way, the cow's milk. But I don't love it, to be honest with you, so I'm probably not going to. I'd like to support the farmers, I'd like to support our community. So I don't know what to do about that, but I'm probably not going to keep drinking it, to be honest with you. Yes, the milk was good, and Wyatt loved it. Awesome, Liz. That's great to hear. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. So complex carbs, simple carbs 101. Let's get into it, and let me explain the difference. So when it comes to carbohydrates, we have two different type of carbs. So we are believers, as you guys know, of a well-balanced diet. We believe that you need all the macronutrients. You have different diets, like I think Atkins might have been the first one. Keto is a big one. I don't really know paleo. It's funny that people often like, what do you think of this diet or that diet? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't mean to say that because I don't want to talk about it. It's just I don't spend my time studying other types of diets. We don't diet. Like we don't diet. We don't talk about diet. We don't teach diet. So, but these diets in particular are, as far as I know, there's no carbs in there. But that's not how we live. That's not what we teach. We believe that you should have a well-balanced diet of all the macronutrients. So hopefully after this series, you'll all understand and know what a macronutrient is. And we should have 4 to make a complete meal. So again, that's antioxidant/fiber. That would be vegetables. That's the easiest one for us as we live a plant-based diet. And if you guys have questions throughout, this is a great time to ask questions. So we can help answer them for you, help clear things up for you when it comes to carbs. Proteins is 1, healthy fats is 1, and carbs is 1. So that's the 4. What can I tell you? I think I lost my train of thought. So when it comes to carbs in particular, carbs react differently in our body. So if you are consuming a complex carb, that reacts differently than a simple carb. Now, I don't think there's a problem with carbs. I think that there's a problem with how we see carbs. So a lot of people see carbohydrates and they just automatically in their brain relate that to gained weight. Oh, you hear people all the time, he could eat whatever he wants. All I have to do is look at a donut and I gain 10 pounds. Like, you hear that stuff, but I really feel like mentally, when you have that connection, visually, when words are connected, you can, that is energy. Like you're converting that energy. So if you see carbohydrates and all you think of is gaining weight, then I feel like your body's going to find a way to gain weight when you introduce carbs into your life. But there's different types of carbs that people don't understand. And then there's portion sizes that is really challenging for a lot of people to control. And I think, like I said, it's the type of carbs as well and how much you're consuming. So let me get into the different types. So if you guys have questions, let me know. How about, maybe this is a better question to get some activity going here. Do you guys have a favorite carb? What is your favorite carb to consume? Should I say hello to everyone? Sue is in here, Melody, Annette, and Liz. I'm not sure if there's anyone else. So, okay. When it comes to carbs, 2 different carbs. So, Celine, am I saying your name right? Can you help me with that? Celine says pasta. Annette says bread. You know, the thing is, what's really challenging in North America is that carbs are in every meal, very similar to a meat. But in most cases, we have like an oatmeal for breakfast. We have toast. We have French toast. Pancakes are usually made from carbs. And then for lunch, you have bread, like you have a sandwich for bread. Like you make it at home, you go to Subway, like soup and sandwich, that's the thing, right, for lunch. So soups so you always have a bread or some type of bread, or maybe you have a pasta, but for dinner, for sure, we have pasta, like that's the main dish. Or you have a bread roll on the side of your pasta. Or in most cases, we have a rice or a quinoa, probably not a quinoa. In most cases, we have like a white rice or a white potato on our plate, and that's the side. So we're just very carb heavy, which I think has translated to people being afraid of carbs. Carb is pasta. You are. Thank you, Celine. Liz says, and Celine, I think we shipped out your product today. We actually had it ready yesterday, but it didn't go out today because yesterday was a holiday. So you should be getting your next order tomorrow. Thank you for your order. Liz says carb is pasta. Sue's pasta. Lately sourdough bread or Sunny Boy porridge. Interesting. Celine says, yay, yes, it's coming at you. We're excited too. It's always exciting. Like I always like to hear when people get their product. That's exciting. So the pastas, and I really love a bowl of pasta. I love it. Especially, it's kind of funny. Like I'll probably eat more pasta at the beach because like I get really hungry after I jump out of the ocean, and it's just an easy meal. Like it's just an easy way to make a big bowl of goodness. And when you're making pasta, like for me, it's all about the sides. It's all about the condiments. So for me, I really like hot flakes on there, on pasta. Is that weird? I like hot flakes. I love olives. I not differentiate, but I don't, what's that word? I don't discriminate when it comes to olives. I like green olives. I love stuffed olives. I love black olives. Doesn't matter. So you got to put olives in the pasta. I really like artichokes, the artichoke hearts. You can slice them and put the artichoke hearts in the pasta. I know I'm missing something. Oh, capers. I gotta have capers in my pasta. So you have like your bowl of pasta, and I like red sauce. I like red sauce more than white sauce. Sounds good, Melody. So that's I like a good bowl of pasta too. Here's the thing though, is that in most cases we have like a huge bowl or a huge plate of pasta. So having a smaller one, like portion control, would be beneficial, and then paying attention to what it is. Dorothy and I this summer we experimented with kvass flour, and so we were actually buying kvass flour. You can kvass pasta actually is what I meant to say. You can buy, I think they were like a sweet potato combination. You can buy quinoa pasta. Those are all really good choices as well, especially instead of a white pasta. Okay, so let me go down the line here and we'll talk about the two different sides. When it comes to carbs, we have our simple carbs. So simple carbs, the simple way to remember simple carbs is in most cases the white ones. So you could look at white bread, white pasta, white rice. Someone just rode by the alley on their bike. So white pasta, white rice, white potatoes. What else is white? Can anyone else help me? Can anyone else help me out here? So those are roughly what we usually have on our plate. If you go to the other side, it's usually the darker one. So that's called a complex carb. So the complex carb is complex or slow digesting carbohydrates. So in most cases, you don't find too many nutrients in the white stuff, like the white bread. Like think of Wonder Bread, white bread, white potatoes, white rice, whatever it is, like white pasta. You don't find a whole lot of nutrients, especially fiber. We want fiber to actually slow the digestion so it'll last longer. So here's the thing. If you have white carbs, it processes it like a sugar. It's almost the same thing as eating a candy. Hey, Dion. Thanks for jumping in here. Dion, it's always nice to see your bright, you always have a bright smile and happy energy when I see you flipping through my newsfeed. So we're talking about carbs and simple carbs and complex carbs. So in most cases, you need the fiber and you also need the energy. So when you get a simple carb, you get a spike in your blood sugar, and we don't want that spike. We want it to be even. That's better than up and down like that, because anytime you have a spike in your blood sugar, there always comes a crash, and you always go lower than you go higher. So if you have complex carbs, you don't have that spike in your blood sugar levels. And you also have sustainable energy, mostly because there's fiber, which slows the digestion, which means it'll give you lasting sustainable energy. So you'll see someone that, it's a good one is like white rice or like Chinese food, or you have to watch out for that MSG when you're going out to a buffet, for example. But if you have sushi's one, sometimes we try to find the brown rice ones. It's harder to find, but if you have sushi, it's a tough one. If you have sushi, for example, it's still clean. It's fresh. You have the seaweed in there. We usually order almost all veggies when it comes to sushi. But you're hungry, right? You're hungry not long after you have sushi. Same thing with Chinese food. I think it's the white rice that acts almost as a filler for our belly. But it acts as a sugar, and it processes it very quickly, and you don't have sustainable fullness. You don't have sustainable energy. It's all like a spike, and then there's a crash, and then it's over. So if you look at the dark colored carbs, we're looking at sweet potatoes, probably at the top of my list for healthy carbs. So you have sweet potatoes and quinoa. That's very high at the top, near the top of the list as well. But it's considered I can't even say the word, a pseudo grain, I think what it's called. But it's called a pseudo grain, but it's actually in the seed category. So That's why it's better than a regular grain. So a regular grain could cause inflammation in the body. For some people, like oats, for example, they are difficult to digest. I think that's in part because they may not be gluten-free. Your oats must be gluten-free, otherwise they're spraying them with the GMO spray, which causes them to dry quicker. So you have to avoid just any kind of oats. So if you're going to a restaurant and ordering oats for breakfast, it's going to be genetically modified, which could cause digestion issues. And then I think we eat too much and we eat it too fast, which also causes gas and bloating and digestion issues. So I really think that carbs get a bad name for a number of different reasons. Like I talked about earlier, because we don't know which ones to consume. We don't know what size we should be consuming them. Like just little things like how quickly you're eating or what time of day. Like for example, I would suggest having a carb in the afternoon, like a plate of pasta. Now I understand that I just said that I like to have a bowl of pasta after I jump out of the ocean. That's usually in the afternoon, but I try to have that earlier, around 4 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. That's a big difference, because 4 p.m. I have some pasta. I'm still moving around. I'm still doing a few things. 8 p.m. comes around. A lot of people don't eat dinner till late in the evening, and then you have a big old steak, or you have a big piece of meat or a big bowl of pasta, and you're not moving around. You're not able to burn that off, so it just sits there, which causes those digestion issues. So back to the complex carbs, we talked about sweet potato, we talked about, this is how I picture them in my head, that's why I'm up here. So you looked at sweet potato, we talked about quinoa, for example. Then we have other types of grains. You could look at rice, for example. We have wild rice, whole grain rice, brown rice. Those are colored rices. Those are okay to consume as well. And then what else do we have? You can look at breads. For me, bread's at the very end of the tier. It's processed, first of all, and it's also usually has tons of ingredients. If you're gonna go with the bread, I would choose the sourdough bread. The only problem is the sourdough bread's usually white. I haven't seen a brown or like a whole wheat sourdough. I don't know if they make them or it's possible, but because of the fermentation, because of the sourdough, that would be better. You could also look at sprouted grains. That's an important one as well. We have sprouted ingredients in our vanilla protein, for example, and that's a important ingredient. We do sprouted, we do organic, often increases the nutrient value as well, and fermented as well. Those all help with digestion. They all help increase the nutrient value as well. I'll have to ask Nick. I don't know if we did a tier. I think we did a tier for breads, but I'm not quite sure. We'll have to go back and see if we have a graphic for you guys. But those are the brown ones. Those are the ones we suggest that you have. Oats is another one. Like I'm a fan of oats. Like I said, you have to be careful of how much you're consuming. But oatmeal is something that we regularly consume. So I would probably put that under quinoa. So I'd probably put sweet potatoes, then I would put quinoa, then I would put oats, and then I'd put rice, and then I'd put breads. So those are really the basics. If you guys have any questions about those carbs, let us know. But that's really the basics of understanding that there are two different types of carbohydrates and they react entirely different in our body. And that's all there is to it. Like if you could have a white refined type of product that processes quickly, almost instantly, like a candy. Like that's how quickly some of the sugar processes in your body. And then you can look at, and then of course we have to look at weight gain, for example. Like if you eat sugar, of course our body mass index is going to increase. But it's the same thing with white carbs, like those simple carbs. If we eat too many of them, our body fat, our body mass is going to go up. That's just how it works. And then, especially if we're not burning those calories, if we're not working out and doing things like we should be doing. So I would say don't be afraid of carbs. I think that we need carbs. Maybe that'll change in the future. I don't know. Like we do our own research. I know there's different research. There's always different research. There's always different information coming out. But a lot of people don't have carbs and they wonder why they don't have any energy. Well, unless your body, see that I'm not against keto by any means, but the problem with keto is that people go on it when it's convenient. So they might go on a keto for like a weekend, for example, or they might experiment with it and then eat whatever they want and then try to do keto. Like that's fine. Like keto works great for a lot of people, and there's tons of health benefits to something like that. And I know there might be some keto people in here. I'm not picking on keto in particular. All I'm saying is that there's benefits to it if it's done properly. I just think that it's really hard for a lot of people to do it the proper way, and then also have a problem with like all the meat, because we're not meat, like we don't eat that much meat, but I have a problem with all the meat and all the other types of food, like bacon, for example. Like go ahead and eat as much bacon as you want, and then have some avocado. Like I think that wreaks havoc on the digestion system, on the digestive system, in many different ways. So I think there's a proper way to go about everything. So as long as you're doing these types of things in a healthy manner, then Dorothy and I actually did the keto diet for, I think I did 7 days and Dorothy did 10 days. It was interesting. It was different. It wasn't something we felt sustainable in our lifestyle. There's a lot of meat and there's a lot of packaging. I know that it probably sounds ridiculous to a lot of people because a lot of people don't consider the environment like we do, but we really try to reduce packaging. We try to reduce our carbon footprint everywhere we go with everything that we do. And by buying so many of those meat products, everything was in plastic. And I mean, I'm sure maybe that's what it has to be like that. But we had 3 times the amount of garbage or trash in that week that we were experimenting with that than without it. So that's another reason, at least for us, it just made more sense to reduce waste and reduce plastic. And then we've been researching plant-based for years. It was a natural progression. It wasn't like overnight. And we just understand the benefits of plant-based and how great we feel, and it works well for us, and then it works well for a lot of people that we work with as well too. So, but I don't have much else for you. Thank you guys for joining me live, and if you guys are checking out the replay, thank you for watching the replay also. What do we have coming up? We're gonna try to do live workouts next week. We'll see how that goes. Live workouts, and we're going to ask what time works. Most people said 6 a.m. and we're probably gonna do Tuesday, Thursday, I think. So we'll try to get those going again. Hopefully we can get some participation. I know a lot of people are getting back into their routines and settling back in for the fall, which is nice. And I also know that we still have some summer left, so I don't want to talk about the fall too much, but I also want to prepare you guys. We have our sugar detox coming up at the end of this month, and we also mentioned a date. I think it was September 25th, which should be a Saturday, that we would like to do the day retreat. So if we have enough people interested, I know Cindy said she was interested. As far as I know, that was all. But if we have a handful of people interested in doing a day retreat on Saturday the 25th, we will put that into motion, but we don't have much time. We have like a week maybe before we need to book and start preparing for that. And then we have the sugar detox. I think I mentioned that sugar detox is coming up at the end of the month. That's gonna go bonkers. That's always a big month for us. It's a big start for the fall. People are already asking and already getting excited about it. So we're gonna get that going soon too. So lots going on here in these next couple weeks. So I hope you guys are ready. I hope you're getting into your routines and ready to get on track and start feeling fantastic again. If you took some time off this summer, or if you've carried on with it, hopefully you're looking forward to continuing to see results. So have a wonderful evening, and we will catch up with you later. I gotta go all the way over here to this button to say goodbye. See you guys.